Okay. Y'all sit your asses down. Let's finish this up real quick. All right. Where were we? Excuse me. The examiner did not have a TikTok account, so he was unable to access Jan's account. However, an internet search of her name revealed several of the videos that she uploaded to her social media account. Some videos were of mundane day-to-day activities such as her cooking and eating. Other videos contained sensitive information such as her son's struggles, her legal circumstances, and her DCF case and safety plan requirements. One video shows an incident in which CPI supposedly arrived at her home and questioned her about allegations made against her. However, the legitimacy of that video was in question because the individual identified himself as being from CPS when the agency in Florida is known for DCF. Other videos showed odd and erratic behavior from Miss Jan. For example, she danced in her garage at 1 a.m. to loud music. She danced and sang loudly about President Trump. Why they put that there is beyond my, but anyways, she pulled up her shirt and exposed her stomach and bra while scratching her breast, and she spoke about sexual encounters with her fiance in which her son entered the room while her fiance was secreting. During the interview, she denied feeling overwhelmed by her day-to-day responsibilities, but in her videos she complained that her home was always a mess and about But in her videos, she complained that her home was always a mess and about the stress of managing her son's challenges. Videos also included her arguing with viewers who commented on her videos and were critical of her. In one video, she announced an in-person signing of her book. Other users posted their own videos to express their concerns about her mental stability and the well-being of her son. Many comments insisted that she get off social media and take care of her son. That's from his own research, okay? That was them speaking on his own research. Test results. Jan was administered the KBIT-2 as a measure of her intellect. Her performance yielded a verbal IQ score of 68, a nonverbal IQ score of 58, both which were extremely low in range. Overall, she earned an IQ composite score of 61 percentile, extremely low range, which was suggestive of significant cognitive impairment, specifically her vocabulary and her word knowledge. Her verbal abstract reasoning skills and her nonverbal reasoning and problem-solving skills are very limited. Indeed, her scores were at the level of intellectual disability. However, she did not present as being intellectually disabled, so her scores may be underestimates of her true level of functioning due to her previously mentioned tendency to rush and make careless mistakes. So those test scores could be incorrect because she doesn't stop long enough to think about things, okay? Jan completed the MCMI-5 as a measure of her emotional and behavioral stability. Her responses suggested that she experienced a severe mental disorder at the present time due to dysfunctional personality features, mood instability, and delusional thoughts. The following are verbatim interpretations obtained from the computer-generated MCMI-5 interpretive report that were solely based on responses. Okay? This is verbatim. This shit is wild. This woman's MCMI-5 profile suggests a disturbance of personality that is likely to manifest itself in highly problematic interpersonal exchanges that are marked by unrealistic or ill-placed exuberances of optimism. While she may convey a sense of control, authority, and efficiency at times, this veneer belies either a basic inability or callous indeficiency to accurately understand personal limitations of others and their situations. This discontinuity with the discontinuity with the realities of her environment creates a social defect that sets the stage for conflicts ranging from awkward misunderstandings to perpetual interpersonal turmoil. We've been saying this shit the whole fucking time. While this woman makes a good first impression and is quite capable of establishing promising friendships, relatively few of these relationships are likely to be long-lasting. Those who have endured longer and perhaps more involved interactions with her may become tired of her overwhelming and persistent presence and in some cases may distance themselves if she becomes manipulative or unreasonably demanding. I'm reading a screenshot, y'all. This has hurt my eyes. As others show warning interest, she is likely to initially deny the existence of any difficulty. However, as a rejection becomes intimate, her usual energy may waver from exuberance to irritability. Unable to endorse or manage her own buried insecurities, she is likely to attribute her less desirable qualities onto others with little or no cause. This woman may be willing to self-examine her role in difficult situations, and she may engage in ever-increasing reckless and erratic pursuits under periods of prolonged distress. Driven to deny life's more tedious realities, including realistic limit setting and self-accountability, she may seek out novel experiences and continue grasping for opportunities to point of exhaustion. We're exhausted, y'all. Fatigue in cases such as this may participate significant decompensation with marked but possibly, intermediate dysphoric and liable effect. I'm really trying to read this screenshot. Also salient is her preoccupation with minor fantasies of its success, beauty, love, and somewhat undisciplined imagination that takes liberties with objective reality to assert and reinforce her boastful self-image. She places few limitations on her fantasies or rationalizations, and her imagination is left to run free of the constraints of reality or the views of others. She is cognitively inclined to exaggerate her power, to freely transform failures into successes, and to construct lengthy and inaccurate realizations. Moreover, she is quick to deprecate those who refuse to accept or enhance her superior self-fucking image. This woman exhibits a number of symptoms that are characteristic of delusional disorder, such as transient ideas of reference, feelings of grandiosity, and irrational jealousy. These symptoms may have been precipitated by a serious setback to her image as an autonomous superior person who is unconstrained by the convictions and rules of society. Wow. These symptoms may have been perpetuated by a serious setback to her image as an autonomous superior person who is unconstrained by the convictions and rules of society. Feelings of either betrayal or humiliation are likely to contribute to her unwillingness to accept the viewpoints of others. As a result, she waves her suspicions into a network of invalid beliefs. The pattern of the MCMI responses of this ambitious woman suggests that she may be experiencing brief periods of hypermatic excitement characterized by unconstrained energy, pressured speech, and distractibility. During these periods, she is likely to exhibit erratic sequence of restlessness, excitability characterized by both euphoric and hostile features. Cheerful and buoyant one moment, and then may become explosively enraged and irrationally belligerent the next. Jan was also administered the MMPI-3 as an additional measure of her psychological functioning and adjustment. The manner with which she responded to questions raised concerns about the impact of over-reporting, exaggerating on the vitality of resorts. Nonetheless, her responses were suggestive of thought disturbance. The following are verbatim interpretations obtained from the computer-generated MMPI-3 interpret. You know what I'm saying. The test taken presented herself in a very positive light by denying several minor faults and shortcomings that most people would acknowledge. This level of virtuous self-presentation is uncommon, but may to some extent reflect a background stressing traditional values. Any absence of evaluation on the clinical scales should be interpreted with caution. Elevated scores on the clinical scales may underestimate the problems assessed by these scales. The test taker's responses indicate significant thought dysfunction. More specifically, the report's prominent persecutory ideation that may rise the level of paranoid delusions, including strong belief that others seek harm to her. She very likely has persecutory beliefs, is suspicious and alienated from others, experiences serious interpersonal difficulties as a result of persuasive interpersonal suspiciousness. I can't read this last part. And lacks insight. She reports useful beliefs and perceptions. She likely has unusual thought processes and perpetual experiences. It got like real light on the screenshot. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, psychological diagnosis: attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, histrionic personality disorder. They are ruling out bipolar disorder, delusional disorder, and grandiose and persecutory type disorder. Nope, I'm sorry. Let me back that up. Let me back it up. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, histrionic disorder. They ruled out bipolar disorder. They're diagnosing her with delusional disorder, grandiose, and persecutory type. Clinical impressions, and we're fixing to wrap it up. We got 2 more pages. The following opinions were made with a reasonable degree of certainty and were independent of the referral source. The examiner reserved the right to amend his opinion should he be provided with any additional relevant information following the completion of this report. During the interview, Jan described herself as being a well-adjusted and normally functioning adult who experienced PTSD because of how she was mistreated on social media. However, neither her reported symptoms nor her actions were consistent with the traumatized individual. Specifically, she did not experience nightmares, flashback, hypervigilance, and exaggerated sterile responses or any other symptoms of PTSD. Furthermore, she did not endorse trauma in her responses on the MCMIV or MP3. While she claimed that she was traumatized by others on social media, she continued to post videos and interact with users on her social media account, especially those who were bullying her. She claimed that she was in fear for her life, yet she announced openly on social media that she was planning on an open in-person book signing. She asserted that she could not discontinue her use of social media because others looked up to her and she wanted to serve as an advocate for others. However, her actions were believed to be attention-seeking. She failed to recognize that her actions were fueling the reactions that she claimed were traumatizing to her rather than de-escalating her difficult circumstances. The content of her videos ranged from mundane to bizarre to inappropriate. The examiner did not doubt that Jan was upset by the comments of her social media users who were critical and degrading of her. However, there is a difference between being upset and being traumatized. She stated that she engaged in EMDR therapy, which is a well-known treatment to help individuals overcome trauma. Continuing to feed into the narrative that she is experiencing trauma will only perpetuate the skewed perceptions and bizarre behavior that led to her current legal circumstances. Instead, treatment should focus on overcoming her cognitive distortions in order to stabilize her grasp of reality of her circumstances and her emotions. Furthermore, her current medication regimen did little to stabilize her thought process, her emotions, or her impulsivity. Jan did not endorse any challenges in her responses to questions during this interview. However, her responses on the psychological questionnaire revealed severe dysfunction. Specifically, her responses were consistent with histrionic personality disorder, which was highlighted by the emotional and behavioral instability. Most notably, individuals with this disorder display emotional instability, exaggerated and dramatic behavior, and inappropriate actions in order to obtain attention from others. It was not clear whether Jan's actions were an effort to boost her self-confidence and self-esteem through attention from others, or if she was engaging in her odd behaviors in order to gain viewers and monetize her social media page. The results from this MCMI were extremely consistent with her presentation. Specifically, her responses on the MCMI suggested that she maintained an inflated self-image and sense of importance. She was unable to appreciate the perspectives and concerns of others. She viewed any negativity toward her as being fueled by hate and jealousy, and she was consumed by conspiracy theories about their motives and motives of others than accepting responsibility for her actions. Indeed, her insight of self-awareness were very limited. Jan did not present a serious threat to herself or others, and there was no indication that she could intentionally harm her son. However, her undying Her unyielding need for attention may render her vulnerable to poor judgment and decision making that can put her and her son at risk. Like, meeting people to sign a book. Jan's behavior in her videos can be described as being manic and impulsive and appeared to be suggestive of bipolar disorder. However, she did not endorse any clinically significant symptoms of depression, mania, or hypermania. It was not clear whether her actions were due to the mood instability associated with bipolar diagnosis or if she was intentionally exaggerating her behavior in an effort to attract attention from others. Jan's skewed perception of her circumstances also seems suggestive of a delusional disorder. However, it is not clear if her dysfunctional thought process was a result of her personality disorder. This is in parentheses. She willfully maintained her skewed sense of reality in order to protect her self-image. Her psychosis, she experienced true deficits in reality testing that were out of her willful control. Recommendations. Jan should consult with her psychiatrist to discuss adjustments to her current medication regimen to more effectively treat her emotional instability, impulsivity, and disordered thought process. Jan should attend weekly individual therapy. Her sessions should primarily focus on improving insight and self-awareness by overcoming her cognitive distortions and her skewed perceptions of reality to explore the source of her need for attention. Sessions should also improve her ability to appreciate the perspective of others and her ability to accept responsibility for her actions, to appropriately advocate for herself, to self-monitor and self-regulate her emotions, to develop coping strategies to manage difficult experiences, to utilize appropriate self-soothing strategies and healthy outlets for her emotions, and to set goals to build a true self-conscious. And then there's a thing saying it was sent to the fucking caseworker. So to all y'all listening right now, that woman is sick, okay? And she's not going to get on here and tell you she's sick, all right? She's not going to do that. When we get on here and we raise money for our community and we want to, help our community out, we say it all the time, it takes a village, right? This woman is sick. She's sick. She's not living in reality. It says it in black and white. Okay? So y'all need to be taking what she's saying over there with a grain of fucking salt. Period. You just need to be saying what she's taking. This right here, because it was sent to me, I didn't request this, it was sent to me, and it says it on the first page that this is not a confidential document. I will be using this in court. Because this right here proves that she is delusional, she is not living in reality, and she is out here pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. It's proof. So Kaylee, get on here and tell these people some more. How her son's not in danger. Get on here and tell these people some more that she's not delusional. Because I know you've seen that same paperwork. Gabby sent this paperwork out to people. It literally has her fingernails on it. How can you sit over there behind that platform of that size and lie to those people like you have? I shouldn't have to get on here and show you proof of nothing. I shouldn't have to go and dig up your live streams full of your fuckery to get you to leave me alone. But I think what you're doing is you're taking it very, very much advantage of a very, very sick woman, and you had firsthand knowledge that she was as sick as she is, and you sat on this platform and encouraged her to go live and subscribe and talk about that court hearing. You sat boxed up with her and let her claim that that fucking courthouse kidnapped that baby and everything else, and you've known this whole time this woman is living in fucking delusion land. We know that she's been sending you all of this stuff. We know that you have taken control, and Gabby is listening to every word you say, Kaylee. You understand this paperwork better than I do. You're a fucking nurse. And for you to sit here and keep doing it, and you want to sit in a box and act like you're better than me, or you're better than Whitney, or you're better than anybody else. Every one of y'all sitting over there pushing this shit, feeding into this woman's delusions, trying to, letting her continue to believe that we're breaking the law and that we're going to have this big ass fucking day in court and everything else. Y'all are feeding her delusions. And you knew it this whole time. Megs, where the fuck are you at? Why are you still sending this woman's paperwork out? All the shit you've done to her, and she's still stupid enough to send you this damn paperwork, and you fucked her again. You sent it out again. It doesn't matter that I sat on here and played your recordings. It doesn't matter that your little fucking book, Catherine over there, the one that charged Gabby hundreds of dollars for a freaking Canva generated photo. Y'all sat over there. Y'all sat on this shit.